Hey everybody, it's Modern Refugee. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the stuff that's going on, especially the flooding that took place out in Iowa and Nebraska, as far as the strain that possibly could have on our food supply come this fall. So I'm really pushing the edge of the envelope here, starting my garden as early as I possibly can. This year, and the very first thing that I plant is potatoes. So this is going to be a video on the show you guys how I go about planting potatoes. This is kind of real basic. Anybody can really do this if they have just a few square feet of yard that they could dig up. They could plant a few of these guys in here and hopefully get something out of it. And that's kind of my goal here. We're kind of in the middle of April. It's probably at least 10 days to 2 weeks earlier than I would normally plant these, but I feel I need to get these in the ground so we can maybe get something out of them. I expect to maybe have something to eat off of these sometime toward the end of July, maybe the first part of August. And I always stagger my potatoes a few days apart, like let's say 10 days apart when I plant them, because then I have kind of like a rolling crop. I can take some, I can put some away. We can eat some, we can put some away. And that's kind of how I kind of stagger some of my stuff that I grow here just at my place. But I'm going to show you real quick here. These are russet potatoes that I bought a few weeks back, and I just kind of left them out in a dark, kind of warm corner of the house. And you can see they're all sprouting. There's life in every one of these. So these are the guys that I'm going to put in the ground. And like I said, these really didn't cost me anything. You don't have to go to a garden store. You don't have to go to the lawn and garden center at one of the big box stores to buy potatoes. You can just buy potatoes off the shelf at your grocery store and make them grow if you have to. So even if you're in an area where there isn't a garden store, as long as you got some type of supermarket where you can buy potatoes, and you leave them out for a little bit so they can get some sprouts on like this, so you know that they're alive, you can plant these. Now I'm going to plant these whole, but I am going to show you one thing real quick. If you don't have a lot of potatoes and you want to stretch these out, you can cut these and you can actually plant to get a couple of plants out of each one of these potatoes if you have to. Like this guy right here, you can see all the sprouts on him. What you need to do is you need to cut the potato so there's 3 eyes. As long as you've got 3 eyes on the piece of potato, it's going to grow for you. And then when you put it in the ground, you're going to put it cut side down. So basically, what you're going to want to do is kind of like, show you here, kind of right through here is where you're going to cut it. So I'm going to cut this guy here and show you. Now, this has got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's got 4 eyes on it, and this has got a whole bunch right here, but this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this cluster right here. So these 2 right here are going to make 2 separate potato plants, and each plant is going to make you a few potatoes. So these are going to go out here in the ground in just a second. I'm going to show you kind of how deep I plant them and stuff. Row markers. All I do for row markers is I take a piece of firewood off my fire pile, and I either baton it with my knife or I hit it with my hatchet, and I make pieces about this big to mark my rows with. And then in the fall, I just collect these back up, dry them out a little bit, and these go on back on the fire stack. So I didn't waste anything from what I'm using here. But I'm going to take these bad boys out, and I'm going to plant 12 hills of potatoes for you and kind of show you how I do that to maybe give you some ideas so you guys can maybe dig up a little patch and get some potatoes and stuff in the ground. Potatoes are really cold weather hardy, so I'm not too concerned that these guys are going to freeze out on me, because as it warms up, they're going to start growing in the soil. And we're also expecting some rain here in a few days, so this rain is going to really soak these guys in, give them good contact with the soil, and it's going to make them want to grow. So next time you see me, I'm going to be out in the garden showing you how to plant these guys. All right, we're out here in the garden, and what I did was I took my hoe and I followed a straight line the length of my bed here, and I put 12 holes equal distance apart, about 6 inches deep in my beds. And you can see my row markers there that I made out of my firewood on either end to mark my rows. And like I said, at the end of season, I'll just pull them row markers back up and dry them out and add them back to the firewood pile so they're not going to go to waste. And what you're going to want to do is if the potato hasn't been cut, you're just going to drop him in with kind of the eyes kind of facing up, like this guy here. He wants to grow up, so we're going to set him in just like so. And as you can see here, my holes are about 6 inches deep. And for the cut potatoes, you're going to want to take the cut end just like this, and you're going to put that down so it makes contact with the soil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these all up with soil, and I'm going to probably add at least maybe another inch on top of the mounds. So there's going to be probably about 6 to 7 inches of soil covering these potatoes up. And as these things grow and come up out of the ground, we're going to want to hill them. And what that means is when you got 2 or maybe 3 inches worth of potato stalk and leaves starting to come up out of the ground and they're starting to form, you're going to hold real gently a little bit of dirt around that stem. And as that potato grows, you're going to continue to do that. And when these plants are fully grown, you're going to have a little bit of a mound of dirt all the way around these potatoes. And what that's going to do is that's going to form a little chamber in there where your tubers can grow. And that's what potatoes like the best. So that's kind of a real quick demo on how to plant potatoes here. I hope you guys get some information out of this. If you got a little bit of a patch of ground where you can plant potatoes, is something that's real easy to grow. Like I said, these potatoes right here have just ones I bought at the store, and I'm going to actually plant 2 or 3 different varieties of potatoes I do every year, but I'm hoping that I can be eating these come midsummer. So this is kind of what it looks like. As you can see, it's not a whole lot of ground there that I'm working with, but I will guarantee you I'm going to get potatoes out of this. So just kind of want to show you guys this, give you guys something to think about, maybe some ideas where you can grow a little food for yourselves. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers out there. I hope my information is helping you guys out. This is Modern Refugee. You guys take care and have a good night. I know, guys, I already signed off, but I just kind of wanted to show you how I mounded that dirt up a little bit over top of the potatoes. So now when we get rain in the next couple of days, it's going to wash them into the soil real good. They're going to make real good contact, but you can kind of see there just a little bit of a mound on top of them. It keeps them in good contact with the soil. But anyway, like I said, just wanted to show you guys this real quick.